Question 3. This is a question about radioactivity, and in particular gamma radiation. You're shown a picture of an X-ray image of a foot and told that a situation whereby a doctor has injected that patient with a radioactive isotope, in this case technetium-99. You're told technetium-99 emits gamma radiation. Part 1 of this question then, simply, what is gamma radiation for 1 mark? You should be able to recall that gamma radiation is a type of electromagnetic radiation, but in order to get the mark you will need to say where it is from. Simply saying electromagnetic radiation will not be enough. So electromagnetic radiation from the nucleus of an atom would be sufficient. The examiner would really be looking for the word nucleus in all of that answer. Part 2 is asking you or quizzing you regarding the properties of gamma radiation itself. So explain why a gamma emitter is used. You'll get 1 mark for basically saying that gamma is the most penetrating of the 3 types of nuclear radiation, so therefore a large proportion of that will be able to leave the body. 2nd mark will be therefore saying, okay, so it gets outside the body, therefore why is it being used? Well, a gamma emitter is far more easily detected outside the body. So something along these lines should get you 2 marks. So if we say gamma is the most penetrating, so a large proportion of the emitted radiation will leave the body, and for the 2nd mark, therefore it is more easily detected outside the body. Question 3.3 then introduces half-life to this. You simply ask for 1 mark, give the meaning of the term half-life. This is something you should hopefully just be able to recall, and whilst there are many ways of actually giving a correct answer on this, this is one of the ways you could write it. So half-life is a time it takes for the number of nuclei of the isotope in a sample to halve. Three 3.4 is a slightly more challenging question now. So it basically tells you that after treatment, hospital equipment may become contaminated. You have to have a rough idea of what we mean by contaminated. So in this case, some of the hospital equipment may directly have some of the radioactive technetium-99 present on it. For 3 marks, you need to describe the level of the hazard associated with the contamination, and you're also told you should include a description of how the level of hazard changes over time. So in terms of actually tackling this question, the first mark really is to say what the level of hazard is to begin with, and initially there is a high level. Of hazard. But being that it's only got a half-life of 6 hours, that level of hazard will start to drop quite quickly. You must be implying a period of time throughout your answer here, as you were asked to provide a description of how it changes over time. So for a second mark, you could say the level of hazard drops to a low level quickly. You don't have to specify any kind of time here, but that will do. Now the third mark is for saying why that will drop to a low level quickly, and like I said earlier, this is due to a short half-life. .5, so 2 little 1 markers to finish this question off. You're told that some of the hospital equipment may also be irradiated during treatment. Again, they're trying to test your understanding of what you mean by the term irradiation. Describe how equipment becomes irradiated. If something is irradiated, it is essentially exposed to ionizing radiation, and that is all you need to say for the answer to this question. Finally, question 3.6, why is irradiated equipment not hazardous? Well, even though something may be exposed to ionizing radiation, it will not make that particular material radioactive. And again, that will suffice as the answer to this 1 marker. So, it does not become radioactive.